You might remember that when 1.4.4 released, the Daytime Empress of Light suddenly got a lot harder. This is because, in that update, Relogic made the Daytime Empress's attacks ignore dodging mechanics, which means you could no longer cheat death using Hollowed Armor, Master Ninja Gear, or Brain of Confusion. Instead of getting a free dodge every 30 seconds, which often meant several dodges through the fight, plus another 25% chance to dodge any other attack, you now had to true no-hit the Empress of Light. No funny business allowed, which is, of course, significantly harder. Although the Empress of Light is by far the most well-known and consequential example, Relogic made this apply to more than just the Empress. Their intention was to make any, quote, insta-kill enemy, like the Empress, bypass dodges. As you know, they should insta-kill. Due to this, other heavy hitters like Daytime Skeletron, Daytime Skeletron Prime, and the Dungeon Guardian were also brought along and made undodgeable. However, if you actually go and check in-game, you'll realize this isn't quite the case. The Empress is undodgeable, sure, and so is Dungeon Guardian, but both Daytime Skeletron and Daytime Skeletron Prime are perfectly dodgeable, despite the patch notes saying otherwise. So, what gives? Well, let's look at the method is damage dodgeable, which controls whether an enemy can be dodged. First, let's replace these bare NPC IDs with the readable names from an NPC ID class. This is now what the code should have looked like to the developers before the compiler crushed it. In this switch statement, you can see that, by default, enemies are dodgeable, which makes sense. Then, the Empress of Light is dodgeable when it is not day, which also makes sense. Meanwhile, the Dungeon Guardian is only dodgeable when AI1, which is one of its internal AI counters, is not equal to 2. Since the Dungeon Guardian's internal counter is always set to 2, it's always undodgeable. Still, this makes sense. Then, there's this case. Since there's no code for this case, it, quote, falls through to the next case, using its code if it triggers. This means that just like the Dungeon Guardian, Skeletron should only be dodgeable if its internal counter is not set to 2. Skeletron's internal counter is set to 2 when he's enraged during the day, so he should be undodgeable during the day, just as intended. But if you look closely, you'll realize this is actually code for the skeleton, not Skeletron. So yeah, that's right, Terraria's developers missed an R in their code, meaning Skeletron is unintentionally dodgeable due to a typo. The effect of this is that Skeletron, even during daytime, is always dodgeable, since, well, there's no exception for him in the code. However, this also means that the common blue-shirted non-bone-throwing non-boss skeleton can actually ignore dodges, if its AI counter is set to 2. While this is normally not the case, since Fighter AI uses the AI1 counter to track door-breaking progress, it is possible to create an undodgeable skeleton. If a skeleton were to bang on a tall gate once, its counter would be set to 2, and so if you run into it with a dodge, it will actually ignore your dodge. Just like that, a mere skeleton can mirror the undodgeability of the Daytime Empress, and all because of a lost R in typing. Oh, and if you're wondering, remember how he said Daytime Skeletron Prime is also unintentionally dodgeable? Well, he is, but not because of a typo or anything fancy. It's just because the developers forgot about him. He's not anywhere in the code. Just not there. Fat L for Prime, I guess. By the way, thank you to amaboye for bringing this glitch to my attention. There's no way I could have found it otherwise. Either way though, thank you for watching, and good day, and goodbye. See you next week.